Hello again, everybody. Lovely, imaginative people, all of you. All of your parents, they'll all have some really strong imaginative strengths. Your teachers, all the adults in the classroom, and you, of course. This week, we are trying to figure out what our imaginative strengths are. And oh my goodness, the world needs people with imagination. There aren't many jobs that I can think of that don't require some imagination. I was thinking about what are the most imaginative jobs that people go on to do? Because I know you're really young, but it's good to have some kind of ideas that what you're good at and what you might be able to bring to the world and give to the world when you're older. So there's some really obvious kind of imaginative jobs, aren't there? I bet you can think of some of them. Have a little think. These were the ones that I could think of. Obviously, being an artist, creating new ideas, new pictures and images of things that don't exist, if you like. And we talked yesterday about being an architect, somebody who can imagine, think about all those wonderful buildings. Every house, the house that you live in, has been designed by someone who, it's just like Lego, isn't it, on a slightly bigger scale, could imagine and create a new home for people. Think about all those amazing buildings in places like London and Venice, those ancient, beautiful buildings and the new modern buildings. They've all been designed by a very imaginative person. And those people are called architects, people that design buildings. It's a great job to have. Then there's all the designers, people who design. That's so imaginative, isn't it? Because you are creating new ideas, and whether you are a fashion designer coming up with new ideas for clothes, or a designer of new computers or computer games, that's very imaginative, isn't it? Maybe you have the start of some real imaginative gifts there. You know, do you like to go onto Minecraft and not just play the games, but do the creative side of that and create and build and do all those beautifully complex algorithms to create things that work in different ways? That might be something that you can explore into the future. I was thinking about filmmakers, people who make films and create new worlds that we can all enjoy and watch on the screen. That's very imaginative, isn't it? Obviously, writers. I'm going to come back to writers tomorrow, because that's something that really interests me, and I think I've got a bit of a strength in that side of things. But inventors, people who invent new things, sometimes just for people to enjoy, and sometimes things that are really necessary. You know, people who are working hard to invent new engineering and plumbing systems to bring water to places where people haven't got taps that they can turn on, things like that. And of course, at the moment, we're all working, waiting for the imaginative people in the field of science and medicine to come up with something new, aren't we? A vaccine for COVID that works. And that's a really imaginative process, because it doesn't exist, and people are having to, or it nearly does, fingers crossed, people are having to imagine and create new things in medicine to help us all to be well. What else? Musicians. Every song that you hear on the radio, whether it's classical music or pop music or whatever you like to listen to, that's such a creative process, isn't it? To be musically imaginative, to create a new song that the world's never heard before. What a gift that is. We are so blessed with all the gifts that we have. Dancing, you know, being able to create, if you are, it's called a choreographer, isn't it? Where you create a new dance for a new show. That's really imaginative. And all of those different jobs show different imaginative strengths. So we're going to go to the world of art today and think about whether or not you think you have an emerging artistic imagination. Now, have you ever drawn a picture of something that isn't directly in front of you, either on a screen or a book or in actual real life? If you've ever drawn a flower, a house, a castle, an imaginative creature, then you do already have a good artistic imagination, because you're having to think about and conjure up those ideas in your imagination. Now, art. I have some good strengths in art. I have some good skills in art that I've really worked on over recent years, actually. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But I don't think I am artistically imaginative. So I'll tell you why I think that. Now, I talked about my sister, didn't I, yesterday? And it's really interesting how children from the same family can be so different. And just like with the Lego brick, when we were young, as little girls growing up together, my sister Julie had some really strong artistic imagination. So if we were given blank pieces of paper, I might draw a pattern and she would create a person, not someone who was there, from her imagination, or a place, and she could just draw. And I think that put me off a little bit, because I always thought, well, nothing I can ever draw on my blank piece of paper is going to be as good as hers or imaginative like hers. And I left art for a long time, decades, tens of years, and I only started drawing again and enjoying art really when my daughter got to the age when she started drawing and painting a lot. And I did that. I joined in really and tried to get better at it, something that I'd found quite difficult. And I'll show you my sort of journey. Some of you will have seen these pictures before because I've shared them. Now, the one thing that they all have in common, because I'm not very imaginative artistically, is that they're all copied from things. They're all copied from drawings on that I found on my computer or in books, and I've just drawn people really. I'm very interested in people. Hardly ever draw landscapes. I'll come back to that in a second. So I really like colourful things. Colour makes me happy. So I started drawing and copying pictures of people. Here's one of the first ones I did that just pleased me really. They just had some lovely colours, often people from different lands actually, really made me want to draw them because they were so colourful. So I did loads of drawings like this and actually found that it was something that I really enjoyed doing, and using the colour made me very happy. And even though I wasn't being imaginative, I wasn't creating my own new ideas, then copying pictures and making them bigger was something I really enjoyed. I just love the use of colour. Look at her, she's beautiful with her parasol and red dress. So then I thought, okay, I'll challenge myself a little bit more. I wonder if instead of drawing sort of cartoony people, I could have a go at drawing real people, people that I knew, people that I loved. And this I'm still very fond of. This was done in 2016, so quite a while ago now. And it's my first drawing of an actual person. And this is my daughter. This is Elise. She's wearing her cat hat there. There she is. And what I really love about it is it really captures something of her spirit really, and her personality. So I was really pleased with that one. And I went on to draw loads more of her. Here's another one of her in a different pose. We were going somewhere special that day, so she'd had some glitter on her face. And then I got really, I couldn't stop then drawing family members. So this is Elise again, but this time with her cousin Millie. And you can see that I'm starting to get, even though it's not imaginative, my skills are starting to get a little bit better. And then I drew my sister, the really imaginative one. Here she is. It's quite different to me. She's got really dark hair and really blue eyes. There she is. And this is one of my absolute favourites. This is my dad. Now, you don't know my dad, but my dad's a really lovely man. And here is my picture of my dad in his rugby shirt. And what I just love about it is it really looks like him. So it's not imaginative, but it is showing some skill, and I'm glad that my skills got better. And then this was quite hard. I even had a go at drawing myself, some self-portraits. So again, copying a picture from a screen. See if you think these look like me. There's two here. There. And drawing yourself is a really interesting thing to do. Really interesting thing to do. And here's one more, last one. Another one of me. Slightly odd shapes in that one, I think. But it was a lovely thing to do. And I seem to have realised that I'm very interested in faces. I like drawing faces. So then I realised I was a bit stuck in a rut, and I just kept drawing the same things really. And I think I'll always love doing portraits. But me and Elise decided to push ourselves out of our comfort zone a little bit and start to learn how to use paint. But again, because I'm not particularly imaginative, I couldn't have just filled a board with my own painting. I needed to follow a tutorial. And one of the best people to follow, he's no longer with us, unfortunately, is an artist called Bob Ross. Now, I know that some of you Year Sixers will know about Bob Ross because he's one of the most relaxing people on YouTube or the TV to actually watch. And he helped me to be a bit more confident and to use acrylic paints. And this was my first one. I showed this in assembly last year. This was my first painting that I did. Now, unbelievably, that was just following a tutorial. So none of those are my ideas. They're all Bob's ideas, and he showed how to do it. But I was really, really pleased with the end result. So there you go. Even if you don't have a particular strength in imagination in some areas, you can still go on and get much better at them. And what I can't do yet, I'm hoping that I get more skillful, is I can't do things from my own imagination. So Elisa's gone on and she'll draw. She writes a lot of stories and lots of books, and she's got lots of imaginative strengths. So she'll draw, you know, characters for her stories. And this one's pure imagination. It's all out of her imagination. So she really has gone on to create something entirely new. So I'm a little bit behind there, but that's okay. And that's why in school, certainly in primary school, you do so many subjects, because it's trying to get you to have a flavour of all these different things so you can work out the things that you love and the things that you're really good at. That's why, as well as the maths and the English, we also do our computing. That's really creative and imaginative. Why we do painting and art and music. Remember Zachariah's musical score? That's really creative, really imaginative. He's created something totally new, a new piece of music that's never been heard before. And design and technology. Yeah, maybe you're always top of the class in design technology because you can just make things and you can imagine how things are going to be. Part of what we try to do here at Northowram Primary School is help you to find the things that you love and that you're good at. So there's our challenge this week. Have another think. Are you getting closer to figuring out what some of your imaginative strengths might be? And tomorrow, because we know I'm not an architect, I can't figure things out in 3D. I've shown you I've got some artistic skills, but I'm not artistically imaginative. I'll share with you the thing that I think I am imaginative with. And that's in tomorrow's assembly. So have a lovely day. Have an imaginative day if you can. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.